I think we actually might have just seen the worst call in the entire history of sport. And, like, this is a shock that it is actually not DiJonai Carrington committing a flagrant foul. DiJonai Carrington got flagrantly fouled.
DiJonai Carrington is rapidly becoming one of the WNBA's most disliked players. After the recent Dallas Wings versus Golden State Valkyries game, her reputation took yet another hit. Following weeks of controversy, she finally got a brutal taste of her own medicine, and the timing was poetic. This could be the most satisfying twist of the 2025 season.
DiJonai, DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai, DiJonai.
WNBA officiating has been questionable all year, but Carrington seemed immune, avoiding the harsh calls others, especially Caitlin Clark, faced weekly. That changed in the Golden State game, when for the first time, the ref's infamous incompetence hit her. And just like that, the tables turned.
So the ball gets swung, Janelle Salon shoots the ball. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. So, DiJonai Carrington is just shielding the ball out of bounds. She's just shielding the ball out of bounds, as you do. And Tiffany Hayes tackles her to the ground. Tackles her to the ground.
With under 2 minutes left and Dallas down 3, Janelle Saline missed a deep shot, triggering a scramble for the rebound. Carrington chased the ball, but wisely let it roll out to secure possession. It was a veteran move until chaos erupted. Tiffany Hayes, charging like a freight train, slammed into Carrington from behind. Both crashed to the floor. It looked like a clear foul on Hayes, reckless and out of control.
Hayes does not look nor play like she's 35. Okay, she be bringing it to them girls each and every night. She got that, acting like that face harness, okay, like to protect her face, her eyes, her nose, whatever that is. She be look like a dominatrix to me. I'd be like, bro, who is that? She looks like, it's giving Scarecrow. Or like a Black Raven vibe, okay, like a hawk. And she looks like a bird of prey, okay? And that's how she plays. She plays like a bird of prey, while the other girls in the court are just worms to her, okay? They are bird food, because she be cooking and eating everybody.
Yet somehow, the refs called the foul on Carrington. That's right. The player who had pulled back and was standing still got blamed, and the disbelief was instant and widespread. Even her critics were baffled, questioning what kind of twilight zone the officials were operating in.
And was able to draw a foul. I'm like, what is this? I mean, she almost deleted freaking DiJonai. I thought like I was really gravely concerned for DiJonai Carrington's life and health. I'm like, did y'all not just see Tiffany Hayes just throw her body up against her and slam her to the ground? This is crazy. Literally slammed her. DiJonai Carrington got pushed into a freaking old white man's lap because of Tiffany Hayes jumping on her like she ain't got no sense.
Here's where the script flips and karma kicks in. Normally, a call this bad would spark fan outrage and demands for accountability. But this wasn't just any player. It was DiJonai Carrington. Instead of anger, fans responded with applause. The online reaction was swift, brutal, and crystal clear. She had it coming.
Skylar's going down for a fast break layup. DiJonai winds up and smacks her across the head, and Skylar is on the ground having a hard time getting up. But this was something where people are saying, okay, DiJonai, this is happening a little bit too much for my liking. These hard fouls, these reckless plays are happening a little bit too much. And I want to show you guys one more play that was also in that game that actually injured Gabby Williams. Now, if you watch here, Gabby Williams is going up for a little mid-range jumper. DiJonai jumps to try to block her, and she comes down to where Gabby Williams doesn't have enough landing space. So she lands in her landing space, and then Gabby Williams rolls her ankle.
The comment section wasn't sympathetic. It was a celebration. Fans who'd watched Carrington jab Caitlin Clark, commit dirty fouls, and play instigator were thrilled to see her finally get a taste of her own medicine. Comments like, "That's karma, now she knows what Caitlin's dealt with all season," flooded in. It wasn't just justice, it was a full-on dunk on her reputation.
That call on DiJonai when Tiffany literally flew over her, wild. And then if you saw Paige's face when it was like, I think like 55 seconds left on the clock or something like that, and the coach was like giving them the next play. Bro.
The reaction was so lopsided, it became a story itself. Despite being the clear victim of a bad call, no one cared. The public had already judged her. That's the price of building a brand on dirty play. When something unfair happens, no one defends you. Her reputation had come full circle, and now she was reaping what she sowed.
So once again, DiJonai Ratchet and Carrington is back at it again, being the dirty player that she is, man. So now we're pulling players to the floor by their hair. But what did we tweet earlier this week, everybody? Y'all fans swear I'm such a dirty player. I'm so over this narrative. But I just play hard as and I just make a play on the ball. And I'm tired of people calling me a dirty player.
Calling it one of the worst foul calls of the year might be too kind. Carrington did everything right. Backed off, stayed planted, made no contact. Hayes barreled in and flattened her, yet the foul went on Carrington. Even Valkyrie's fans who benefited were cringing. Dallas fans were furious, and for good reason. That blown call cost the Wings a crucial possession in a tight game. The Valkyries pulled away to win by 10, but the real headline wasn't the score. It was that ridiculous call.
Listed as Dallas ball. But do you know what another referee called? Do you know what another referee called? So one says it's Dallas ball. Another referee, as you can see right here, Salon miss, Valkyrie's rebound. Apparently Tiffany Hayes got the rebound. And DiJonai fouled Tiffany Hayes. Apparently, Tiffany Hayes got the rebound and got fouled by jumping on DiJonai Carrington.
The irony was rich. This was the same Carrington who spent the season dodging accountability. The one who poked Caitlin Clark in the eye on national TV with no technical. The one whose flagrants got downgraded, who sparked chaos needing ref protection, yet faced no real consequences. After months of dishing it out, she finally had to take it on one of the game's biggest plays.
As everyone else has seen this angle, I'm calling her in, and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
The context made it even sweeter. This wasn't a throwaway game. Dallas needed the win to keep playoff hopes alive. That awful call, where Carrington got whistled for just standing still, shifted momentum, and helped Golden State clinch it. It wasn't just karma, it had real consequences. Her team paid for her reputation, and she couldn't stop it. That's poetic justice. Carrington spent the season elbowing, taunting, and taking cheap shots, walking like she ruled the league. But this time, the refs didn't just stop shielding her, they turned on her. And the same bad officiating that plagued Caitlin Clark finally hit one of the league's dirtiest players.
Is this? Look, pulling players to the floor by their hair is not making plays on the ball. This is not basketball. WNBA. When is she gonna get fined, suspended, or kicked out of the league for this reckless behavior? This is the fourth incident. The Lynx incident, taking out Ariel Atkins, taking out Skylar Diggins, and now the LA Sparks. When is it gonna stop, man? When is accountability gonna be taken for her being the dirty player and ratchet that she is?
Usually, when a player gets burned by the refs, fans speak out, analysts dissect the replay, and the player becomes a poster child for bad officiating. But with Carrington, nothing. Actually, worse than nothing. Most people just said, that's what she gets. It showed how little goodwill she's earned. When your misfortune entertains more than it outrages, you've entered full villain mode. And it's a sign fans are losing trust, not just in players, but in the WNBA's ability to enforce fairness at all.
And she ends up getting Shepherd in the face, the nose. I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after Carrington goes for the block, watch her pull back right here. And that's the part that I don't know if you separate that. Do you separate that?
Fans should be upset about a blown call, no matter who it's against. If the league wants credibility, justice has to matter, even for disliked players. But Carrington's case shows we're not there. Instead of demanding better officiating, fans cheered karma. That reveals something deeper is broken. Carrington became the outlet for years of frustration, not just over her reckless play, but the league's failure to hold her accountable. Her style made her the poster child for a larger issue, no real consequences. And when that's the norm, don't be shocked when fans celebrate injustice instead of condemning it. That's bad for any sport.
It doesn't matter how many times DiJonai Carrington wants to get on her social media and want to claim that she's the victim and that she's not a dirty player. The league has rescinded fouls. Yeah, the league's rescinding flagrant fouls on you because it's run by a bunch of cowards. They're flagrant fouls. They're dirty plays. They're trashy plays. Someone's going to get very physically injured. At this point, DiJonai Carrington, forget about it. You won't beat these allegations.
From a basketball standpoint, this is a major red flag. If a playoff race can hinge on a call that bad, how can fans trust any outcome? When wins and losses are shaped by officiating, not skill or strategy, the league's legitimacy suffers. And if the WNBA wants to go mainstream, it can't let moments like this slide. The fan reaction, shrugging off a blown call because they disliked the player, was more than viral. It was a warning. The league's credibility is on thin ice. So what now for Carrington? This wasn't just an image hit, it was a turning point. Sure, critics are relishing the irony, but it highlights real concerns about how she's perceived. To be fair, Carrington's talented. She earned most improved, her defense is elite, and her offense has grown. But none of that matters if it's drowned out by controversy. When even your own fans won't defend you after a bad call, it's time for a reality check. Her reputation is now hurting more than helping.
I don't have a problem with the WNBA players asking for a raise. The WNBA is on a hot streak. I don't care about the previous 24, 25 years. As an investment, it's starting to pay off. And so this week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark.
Colin Cowherd just called out Kelsey Plum, and it was long overdue. While Caitlin Clark is turning the WNBA into a profitable league, Plum took a shot at the very person fueling that success. Cowherd fired back, exposing the jealousy brewing within the league. So what exactly did he say? And why is he comparing Caitlin Clark to Michael Jordan?
The t-shirt, just United front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
For over 20 years, WNBA players flew budget airlines and even paid for water. They played in empty arenas for money-losing teams, with merchandise so scarce fans couldn't find jerseys to buy.
But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private. Okay, if you're in a band and you're staying at the Motel 6 and you add a band member and now you're at the Ritz-Carlton, keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking.
Then Caitlin Clark arrived and everything changed. Merchandise sales soared 500% and league attendance rose 40%, with some cities now selling out games. Teams once losing money became profitable, and the Indiana Fever went from financial disaster to having a season ticket wait list.
I don't mind the t-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls. Fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member.
What fires up Cowherd is that players who once flew budget now enjoy private jets, better hotels, and higher salaries. The league's finances improved fast, yet some veterans still complain about the person who made it all happen.
I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle. And here's the other thing to remember. Caitlin Clark's already rich. She made $11 million this year alone in endorsements off the court. So regardless of how these negotiations go, she's set. Nobody else is, right? Like, so when somebody joins the band and everything gets upgraded, just be happy.
Clark transformed the WNBA from a charity case into a real business. TV ratings spike when she plays, sponsors are investing, and Clark jerseys are flying off shelves. Every player benefits, yet some still complain. That's what frustrates Cowherd. Why bite the hand that feeds you when you're finally winning?
I know you wanted your song to be the first one they played. You wanted to make up the set. It's not the t-shirts. You're going to do fine. I'd scale back on the Caitlin Clark angst.
Cowherd nailed it, comparing the WNBA's rise to moving from a Motel 6 to a Four Seasons, thanks to Caitlin Clark. Everything improved. Travel, pay, respect. Yet some veterans still act like nothing changed, complaining from their upgraded conditions. Then came the All-Star voting, revealing deeper issues. Fan votes, coach picks, and player ballots shape legacies and endorsements. For young stars, it's more than a game. It's their future.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting, for years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose, and they don't like what it looks like.
Fans ranked Caitlin Clark first among guards. Her fellow players? 9th. The league's biggest star, driving record crowds and sales, was barely acknowledged by those benefiting from her impact. And the gap wasn't even close.
Iowa girl, Indiana girl. Well, who knows, and I've said this for years, when the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. When Puka Nacua went in the 5th round of the Rams and they suddenly in camp went, oh, we just found a new number 1 receiver. He's better than Cooper Kupp. They didn't fight it. Did you think when you watched Tom Brady at the Combine, that looked like the GOAT? They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a $103 million contract. That was a lot of money back then. And then a year in, they're like, I'm going to go with Brady. They didn't fight it.
Let's be honest. Clark's All-Star snub wasn't about her game. She had the stats and records to back it up. This was personal. In other sports, young stars like LeBron and Tiger earned respect, even if they stole the spotlight. But with Clark, the pushback felt petty. Cowherd called it out. Some WNBA players weren't appreciating the one who transformed their league. Instead of backing the golden goose, they worked against their own success.
You know, there's obviously a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't like what the wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success looks like.
Here's what makes it worse. Players like Agia Wilson and Kelsey Plum gained from Clark's rise. Their visibility, salaries, and conditions improved thanks to the attention Clark brought. Yet in All-Star voting, they ranked her below far less impactful players.
Every company in the country would love to go viral every day for free marketing. If they knew how to do it, they'd all be viral every day. Like, you just don't know. Is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of emotion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. Don't fight it. The wave, the meteor, doesn't necessarily look like you think it's going to look.
This voting controversy ties directly to what's happened on the court all season. Hard fouls, unnecessary contact, clear targeting. Some veterans can't accept that a sophomore reshaped their league, so they lash out in games and all-star voting, blaming Clark for their own success.
People are saying, hey man, this league has never made money. It's an investment. It's now going to make money. And by the way, this is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be.
Cowherd made a bold but clear comparison. Clark and Jordan both entered as flashy rookies who instantly changed their leagues. Jordan made the NBA global, and Clark is doing the same for the WNBA. The parallel is obvious, yet few are willing to say it.
Caitlin Clark's gotten really good really fast. It's like the end of year 1 for Michael Jordan or year 3 for Michael Jordan. She's gotten really good really fast. And you got to put a body on her, or you got to double team her, or she's going to embarrass you. She's shooting 33-footers. And what happened last night's a byproduct of that. This is what happened to MJ. She's number 1 and 2 in every offensive stat. She's hitting more threes this season than Steph Curry did in his first MVP season. And her game embarrasses you.
The physical punishment says it all. Jordan endured the Jordan rules, aggressive tactics meant to wear him down. Clark faces similar targeting today. Early on, officials couldn't protect Jordan, and now they're failing Clark. Cowherd noted how much is being let go, and it's starting to feel inappropriate.
It's a little bad boys Pistons with MJ. For the record, Caitlin Clark got up. She wasn't hurt. She did more trash talking. She hit more threes. She remained remarkable, just like all the great. If you respect women, stop pandering. She's tough. She's feisty. She likes to taunt and talk. And nobody quite knows what the hell to do.
Remember when Clark missed a game due to injury? The same thing happened to Jordan early on, as teams tried to intimidate him physically. Officiating couldn't keep up with what these generational talents brought. Both leagues had to learn how to protect their stars while keeping the game competitive.
Steph Curry's first couple years in the league. Thank God for Draymond Green. And by the way, this league, they knew what they were getting into, right? Like, and I'll get to this in a second, but they brought Sophie Cunningham over in a trade for a reason. She's the youngest black belt in the state of Missouri's history, 6 years old. They brought her over to protect Caitlin Clark because they saw this puppy coming. The league doesn't quite know what to do, but the Fever did. And so, again, you got to put a body on her. You got to get physical.
Both teams brought in enforcers. The Bulls got Charles Oakley for Jordan. The Fever signed Sophie Cunningham for Clark. Cowherd noted it's no coincidence. The Fever knew, like the Bulls did, that protecting a transformative star is just smart business.
If you go look at the history of basketball, high school, college, WNBA, NBA, if there's an offensive player and they're humiliating you, Steph, Shaq, MJ, Caitlin, what do? You can't trap her. She'll dribble through it. You got to put a body on her. You got to double team her. You try to get in her head with trash talking. It's not working at all. It's the ultimate compliment, in my opinion.
Merchandise and TV ratings tell the same story. Clark is a dynastic TV ratings changer, just like Jordan was as a rookie. Both became instant must-watch stars. The WNBA is seeing the same surge the NBA did with Jordan. But here's the uncomfortable part. Both faced resentment from veterans who felt overshadowed. Clark's All-Star snub proves that resentment is still very real.
And so the first year Caitlin Clark was in the WNBA, they were hazing her. They're not hazing her anymore. They're just trying to figure out how the hell to stop her. Okay, it's not hazing. It's, all right, traps, pressure. So the Fever saw it coming. They went and got Sophie Cunningham, 6-year-old black belt. This is what the Bulls did with Charles Oakley to protect Michael Jordan.
The college popularity factor ties it all together. Jordan's North Carolina fame fueled the NBA's rise. Clark's Iowa stardom is reshaping the WNBA. Both brought huge college fan bases into the pros. Cowherd believes these early challenges will only make Clark stronger, just like they did for Jordan. The WNBA's future depends on embracing, not resisting, this change.
But, like, it is another situation than pretending like Caitlin Clark doesn't exist.
They want to make the trajectory look like it's going up and not down. It's whatever, man. We see what's going on.
They're trying to make it so that the data looks as favorable as possible.
ESPN didn't want to show the ratings were down from WNBA All-Star Game because Caitlin Clark didn't play, so they just used the 2023 numbers instead.
ESPN lying.
ESPN got exposed for twisting the truth about WNBA All-Star ratings to cover up the fallout from Caitlin Clark's absence. The cover-up was so sloppy, even their own journalists called it out. After the 2025 game dropped 36% in ratings, from 3.44 million in 2024 to 2.2 million, ESPN ignored last year's record and instead compared it to 2023 to fake growth.
Yes, you guys heard me correctly. The numbers are in. And just like I told you, there was a boycott.
You got to understand, these numbers, they did like 2 million viewers. That's up from 2023. 2023 was a little over 900,000. So it is up. So the numbers are going up. But compared to last year, it fell by 40%.
Oh, so they going to try to spin it. Okay, it could be the second most watched of all time. Of course, it's going to be that, but compared to last year, you still down 36%.
What makes ESPN's spin worse is the game was in Caitlin Clark's home arena, Indianapolis. It was meant to be a major WNBA celebration, the league's biggest stage in its biggest star's city. But instead of triumph, it became a ratings disaster so bad, ESPN tried to fake a success story.
They're just skewing data.
So it's up 158% compared to 23. What happened to 24? Y'all just gonna skip over 24? Like, what?
Thing is, this could be disingenuous too. That's the bad side of it, because for some reason they have a thing where they want to compare everything without Caitlin. They're like, oh, well, she's an anomaly, so we could compare these numbers to 2023 and show you that without Caitlin, it's growing.
This is very similar to the WNBA draft, comparing it to 2023. Very similar to how they are presenting this graph.
The mess began on July 15th when Clark aggravated a groin issue during Indiana's win over Connecticut. Hours after she announced she'd skip All-Star Weekend, ticket prices crashed 48%, from $121 to $64. Fans made it clear, no Caitlin Clark, no interest. This wasn't a small dip. It exposed how reliant the WNBA is on a 23-year-old. It's striking, as Clark missed 10 games this season after never missing one in college or her rookie year. Can networks be trusted when they have money in the leagues they cover?
So for all the people that thought that it wasn't a boycott against this All-Star game, it was, bro. People was just DMing me, telling me that they weren't going to look at it. People was telling me that they refunded their tickets. I was even supposed to be there, and I decided not to go because of the things with the referees and the WNBA disrespecting Caitlin.
1,250,000 viewers, woof, out of existence. No Caitlin Clark, not tuning in.
ESPN's sleight of hand is clear in how they framed their historic rating success. They didn't just skip 2024, they picked 2023 data, before Clark went pro and when the WNBA drew little attention. Instead of admitting ratings dropped by over 1 million, ESPN promoted a misleading stat that 2025 was up 158% from 2 years ago. It wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated PR move to distract from the fallout of Clark's absence.
So all of you guys can sit there and say, oh, you guys are just trying to uplift one player. Oh, the league is more than one. I agree, the league is more than one player. It's more than one good basketball player. But is there more than one player that moves the tide? No. We just have to be honest. It's okay.
What gives it away is ESPN's sudden shift in tone. All season, they praised Clark for boosting growth and selling out arenas. But when the All-Star game flopped without her, they claimed no single player matters. They pointed to Friday's Skills Challenge, getting 1.3 million viewers, up 89% from last year, but left out that the jump came from format changes and prime time slots, not a rise in league interest. The boost wasn't about Reese, Wilson, or others. It was fans still hoping Clark might show.
There is fans that are just Caitlin Clark fans. I said this yesterday. If Caitlin Clark was to leave to go to New York or any other damn team, expect significant impact in the Indiana Fever viewership, bro. People might tune in for that first season without Caitlin if she was to leave, but after that, it is over with.
There was plenty of people I saw online who said, yo, Caitlin Clark not playing. Oh, she's hurt and they don't want to call fouls. Okay, I'm not giving them a view. I'm not going to watch. There was plenty of people that boycotted watching this WNBA All-Stars.
The fallout went beyond TV. Clark's All-Star exit set off a domino effect across the WNBA's business. Ticket sales, merch, and sponsorship values all took a hit. The market reacted like it lost its center. ESPN's spin couldn't hide what fans saw. The 48% ticket price drop wasn't minor. It was a clear message from fans who paid to see Caitlin Clark and didn't care about her replacements.
You can see when Caitlin doesn't play, it happens. And how are we meant to know that if Caitlin ends up missing a year, Caitlin's gone, that all those fans don't just leave again?
They know they need Caitlin Clark to grow this league, man.
It wasn't just empty seats. Social media was flooded with fan cancellations. People shared scrapped trips, resold tickets, and skipped the broadcast. The WNBA didn't just lose viewers, it lost momentum. This wasn't fringe, it was a visible fan boycott ESPN tried to bury by inflating numbers to keep sponsors from panicking over a WNBA without its star.
Why not just not put up 153? Just say 2.2 million average viewers and then just say second most watched All-Star game ever behind 2024, which is fine. You don't even have to say how down bad it is. It's a PR page.
Instead of trying to down Caitlin Clark and diminish her to the level that other people may be at, why don't you promote the other people alongside of Caitlin Clark's greatness?
The financial fallout from Clark's injury hit more than the arena. It rippled through Indianapolis. Hotels, restaurants, and shops prepared for a Clark-driven tourism boost, even stocking up on fever gear. But once she was out, crowds shrank, momentum stalled, and ESPN ignored the economic impact, focusing on selective stats. Her absence didn't just show her value, it exposed a league-wide void. Nafisa Collier scored 36 and won MVP, but it barely registered. No viewership surge, no buzz. The WNBA hasn't built another star who draws national attention. A failure of branding, not just talent.
Caitlin Clark was in it. We're going to say it's up on non-Caitlin Clark numbers because, you know, Caitlin Clark's just an anomaly. Caitlin Clark's not a player. Caitlin Clark is not relevant to this. Caitlin Clark is an anomaly.
Oh, y'all are trying to straddle the fence. We want your money, but we don't want you. Which one is it? Which one is it? We want the viewership, but we only want viewership from certain people's fans. We want the ratings up, but we don't want these type of, like, no. Do you want it or not? You got to accept what comes with everything. The good, the bad, the ugly.
The backlash to ESPN's spin came fast. Journalist Christine Brennan called out their framing, questioning why they promoted historic ratings despite a major drop from last year. Her viral tweet exposed ESPN's deception. It wasn't just fans. It was respected media voices drawing the line. Then Austin Karp of Sports Business Journal added key context ESPN ignored. Clark drives numbers, and without her, they tank. He showed a clear pattern of declines tied to her absence, proving the WNBA's reliance on her and ESPN's choice to cover it up.
Now, many other people stated that, you know what, it was sold out. It was not a boycott. Well, you know the old saying, men lie, women lie, and the numbers don't. This is a case of the numbers not lying.
By comparing this year's All-Star numbers to 2023, ESPN admitted what they won't say outright. There's a pre-Clark and post-Clark WNBA. These are different worlds in fan interest and commercial value. Using 2023, when Clark was in college and viewership was low, was a deliberate attempt to hide this year's collapse. It highlights how the league's visibility and finances hinge on one player, a truth ESPN won't say aloud to sponsors or investors.
I believe that it's everything also leading up to this. I mean, talk about leading up to this. The officiating, I think enough fans had it up to here with the league as a whole. People had it up to here. You got to understand. Caitlin Clark is getting beat up in these games. The refs aren't calling anything. Kathy Engelbert seems to have air between both of her ears. She seems to have pure air floating between her ears. And I think people are fed up.
ESPN spent the season praising Clark for driving viewership and lifting the league until the numbers crashed without her. Then suddenly, star power didn't matter. That flip-flop shatters their entire narrative. If Clark isn't vital, why make her the face of the WNBA? It's a story built on selective truth, and it collapses under its own weight. But this goes beyond image. It hits players in the pocket. Right now, WNBA athletes are fighting for better pay, with TV ratings as a key bargaining chip. Those pay us what you owe us shirts? They weren't fashion. They were a demand for fairness. And ESPN's spin? It didn't just blur the truth. It sabotaged their leverage. By burying the 36% drop, they painted a fake picture of growth. Clark's impact is real. The collapse without her is real. And pretending otherwise doesn't just distort the story, it rewrites the future.
Well, many of you have probably been waiting on this, as have I. But the WNBA All-Star Game ratings have come out, and all I could think of right off the bat was 4 little letters. F-A-F-O. F around and find out.
J.C. Sheldon's hit on Caitlin Clark's groin sidelined the WNBA's biggest star during a crucial week and triggered a financial crisis the league is trying to conceal. The All-Star Game became a ratings flop, but the WNBA remains in denial. The link is clear, exposing the league's real priorities. So how badly did ratings fall without Clark? And what did the commissioner say?
We have numbers for the most exciting, entertaining, overwhelmed with joy WNBA All-Star Game we have seen in quite some time. We have ratings for that disaster as well. There's good news and there's bad news.
So what started this? On July 13th, J.C. Sheldon drove her knee into Caitlin Clark's groin during what should have been a routine play. Clark doubled over in pain. Referees saw it and did nothing. No call, no review. Footage shows how direct the contact was. Clark's grimace, her reaction, it wasn't accidental. It was a targeted hit that went unpunished.
These referees was completely ridiculous. The referees was a complete disaster.
And immediately grabbed the inside of that right leg.
This wasn't the first time. All season, Clark has taken elbows, blindside hits, eye pokes, and hard fouls that others wouldn't. The pattern is clear. Players target her, and refs let it slide. It's open season on the league's biggest star.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time, Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, Guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
When news broke that Clark was out of the All-Star game, social media erupted. Fans blamed Sheldon's dirty play, but the real shock was the ticket prices. An instant, devastating financial hit.
Caitlin Clark gets hurt, and guess what? Your demand vanishes because people ain't going to pay up to see these athletes that are ungrateful that their sport's growing. People aren't paying up for that. And we are here, right here. The tickets for this game, for this All-Star game, they've dropped by 50%.
Before Clark's injury, the All-Star game was set for record ticket prices, averaging $262, with the cheapest at $121. It was the league's biggest payday until it wasn't. After the news, the get-in price plunged to $64, a 48% drop. Fans dumped tickets, unwilling to attend without Clark.
You bleep around and find out what this league looks like without Caitlin Clark being involved in your biggest events. Kathy Engelbert, this should be a perfect example of why you need to get your officiating cleaned up and you need to have a talk with your players in the league. And nobody's asking you to hold Caitlin Clark's hand. Just play fair.
You know what this proves? The refs didn't just fail to protect Clark. They cost the league hundreds of thousands in ticket revenue. One missed call turned the WNBA's biggest event into a financial mess. And it exposed just how much the league depends on Clark.
You see, this is exactly what we were talking about. WNBA All-Star ratings are in for 2025, and it is down 40%. 40% from last year. That's bad. That is really bad. We already watched the ticket prices drop by more than 50% because Caitlin Clark was not playing. This is bad news for the WNBA, and this should be a wake-up call.
For the first time all season, Gainbridge Fieldhouse had empty seats during a major WNBA event. It was All-Star Weekend, yet patches of vacant chairs replaced the usual sea of Clark jerseys. Her absence sparked a fan boycott the league couldn't hide. Every Fever home game had sold out until now.
It's clear fans sent a blatant message, a shot across thou bow. All right, and your ship, well, without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA and all their pay us what you owe us action, that action will sink. That action will sink.
Clark brings more than crowds. She creates full-scale events. From packed restaurants to sold-out hotels, her presence transforms cities. When she was ruled out, fans flooded resale sites, taking big losses just to avoid a Clarkless game. Merch sales dropped, concession stands were overstocked, and local businesses lost major revenue.
But when it comes to the vendors in the arena, the shops in the arena, they're not going to have the same amount of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was there. The surrounding restaurants, the surrounding areas, the surrounding attractions, they're not going to have the same number of people patronize their business as they would if Caitlin Clark was healthy.
Let's be real. This revealed what the league tried to hide. Without Clark, WNBA games are just regular matchups most fans skip. Even with stars like Wilson and Ionescu, interest tanked. But the worst was coming. TV ratings would soon show how many millions tuned out without Clark.
The ratings fell tremendously. And it was an awful game. So that large percent of people who did not watch, they probably had a better Saturday than everybody else. We just got to be real. It was a glorified 4-point shooting contest in a layup line. It was terrible. It was a terrible product, and you guys should have taken it personal to show the world what you can do and show the world you are more than just Caitlin Clark, because the ticket prices dropped once it got announced that she wasn't playing.
The All-Star flop confirmed what everyone knew, but the WNBA won't admit it. Ratings fell 36%, from 3.44 million in 2024 to 2.19 million in 2025, proving fans tune in for Caitlin Clark, not the league. Without her, promo efforts failed. It's not about basketball, it's about star power, and only Clark has it.
You talk about leading up to this, the officiating. I think enough fans had it up to here with the league as a whole. People had it up to here. You got to understand. Caitlin Clark is getting beat up in these games. The refs aren't calling anything. Kathy Engelbert seems to have air between both of her ears. She seems to have pure air floating between her ears. And I think people are fed up. They were fed up with it.
What made it worse? The pay us what you owe us stunt backfired. Warm-up shirts sparked online backlash, seen as tone-deaf entitlement. Players demanded more money while the one driving revenue, Clark, sat injured. Fans saw through it, knowing exactly who powers the league.
It's not about one person, no matter how many times WNBA and Kathy Engelbert say so. That's virtue signaling in the most disingenuous form. It's Caitlin Clark. As soon as they educate the players on how to deal with this, not as petty, jealous petty hags, all will be better off. Yeah. Pay us what you owe us, they displayed on their shirts. Okay. First, they have to give the money back. They can receive smaller paychecks than they currently receive. Yikes.
The viewership data reveals a harsh truth the WNBA can't spin. Regular games with Clark outdrew the All-Star game. Sky vs. Fever got 2.7 million, Liberty vs. Fever 2.22 million, and Fever vs. Liberty 2.2 million. Clark's presence means more than the league's top event. The Liberty know it too, meeting with Clark and her agent. Smart teams build around generational talent, while others pretend veterans can match her impact. Clark's rise highlights a reality many in the league find uncomfortable.
The Indiana Fever beat the Dallas Wings 102-83. This was a highly anticipated game because it was going to be the first time that Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers would be going up against one another in the WNBA.
For 5 years, basketball fans have witnessed one of the sport's most electrifying rivalries. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers. Two high school sensations who took separate roads. Clark to Iowa, Bueckers to UConn. In college, Clark owned the spotlight, especially during the NCAA tournament showdowns. Even with legends like Gino Auriemma doubting her ability to thrive in the WNBA, Clark never flinched. Last night, destiny brought them together again, this time as pros, with the Indiana Fever hosting the Dallas Wings. But what followed wasn't just a matchup. It was Clark rewriting history in a way only she has managed to do, twice. Picture it. Two teenage basketball prodigies lighting up courts across America, their paths inevitably set to collide. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers first went head-to-head in high school, both elite recruits, both game changers, yet worlds apart in style and swagger. Clark delivered jaw-dropping scoring bursts, no-look dimes, and limitless three-point range. Bueckers answered with graceful precision, a silky mid-range jumper, and court vision that matched, even challenged, Clark's brilliance.
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU, like she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just she just plays way older than she is. Like she's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all three levels. And that's how she's always played. And that's obviously translated really well.
Their college journeys couldn't have been more different. Bueckers committed to the storied UConn dynasty under Gino Auriemma, a program stacked with championships and tradition. Clark went a different route, choosing Iowa, a team with heart, hunger, and something to prove. That bold choice sparked unforgettable NCAA tournament clashes that would forever shape their legacies. In March Madness, Clark's Iowa squad shattered Bueckers' UConn dreams. She delivered towering performances when the spotlight was brightest, including a jaw-dropping 41-point display that sent the Huskies packing. Clark won 2 of their 3 showdowns, outshining Bueckers when it counted. Fans and analysts took sides, fueling a rivalry so epic it felt larger than the game itself.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin, she's better than Caitlin and all this stuff. That kind of stopped in the media. Caitlin Clark put up better numbers in the WNBA than Paige did in college.
Gino Auriemma didn't hold back when it came to critiquing Clark's game. He questioned her shot selection and cast doubt on whether her style would hold up in the WNBA, especially when compared to his own star, Paige Bueckers. In Auriemma's eyes, Bueckers' polished fundamentals were built for the pros. The contrast between Clark's fiery scoring outbursts and Bueckers' effortless control became more than just a stylistic difference. It was a clash of basketball ideologies.
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league, and she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
Both stars declared for the WNBA, and fans everywhere waited for the moment they'd finally collide on the pro stage. Clark held a 2-1 edge in college, but now faced fresh questions about her transition to the big league. The hype was undeniable. ABC snatched the game for a national broadcast, knowing the entire country would be watching. With Clark battling early struggles on a rebuilding Fever squad, this showdown wasn't just another game, it was a pivotal moment for her legacy.
Talking to our player development coach yesterday, and he was like, just sent me a few things of like even Steph going through a slump. I think he was like 27 for his last 70 or something like that. Like the best in the world go through it, and I think that's like where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is like, I know how hard I've worked, so you know this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make.
But here's where it gets interesting. Clark's Fever were reeling heading into this high-stakes clash. They had just taken back-to-back losses to teams that, on paper, they should have beaten. The LA Sparks and the Golden State Valkyries handed Indiana defeats that had fans frustrated and baffled. These weren't juggernauts. They were beatable teams the Fever were expected to roll over.
I feel like this stretch, you know, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like, we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together. And then we go on the road, and you know, we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, you know, yes, All-Stars coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us. And I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
Behind the scenes, a clash of basketball ideologies was bubbling between Caitlin Clark and coach Stephanie White. Clark thrived in a fast-paced, up-tempo game, one built on transition and quick strikes. White, on the other hand, favored a more methodical half-court approach. That difference in vision wasn't just tactical, it created real tension inside the Fever organization. The breaking point came during a heated sideline exchange in the game against the Atlanta Dream. Cameras captured every second of their intense back and forth, the emotion unmistakable. That moment laid bare the growing divide between star and coach, turning a simmering conflict into a full-blown storyline.
There is definitely something going on within the locker room, the front office. Something is off, man. This is the 3rd situation in one game we have had involving Caitlin Clark and the coaching staff and pretty much another player. And it looked like Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White definitely had a situation where they was in a heated exchange right before halftime.
Lineup instability only added fuel to the fire. Clark was just coming back from injury, trying to regain her rhythm. Damiris Dantas had rejoined the team after national team duties, further shaking up the rotation. The result? Disrupted chemistry and a team struggling to find its footing. The Fever couldn't lock down a consistent lineup or offensive identity. Roles were still shifting, timing was off, and the offense looked completely disjointed. Game after game, missed shots mounted, turnovers snuffed out any momentum. The fast break brilliance Clark thrives on? Nowhere to be found. Even Clark admitted the team was stuck in a frustrating pattern. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. Her shooting slump added to the worries, but she stayed defiant. "I'm never going to stop shooting," she said, likening herself to Steph Curry when he hits a cold patch. The Fever finally snapped their losing skid with a win over Atlanta, but the victory didn't fix the deeper issue. The tension between Clark and White lingered. The philosophical rift wasn't resolved. It was just paused.
You know, it can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to, but then like I look at the box and it's like I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence, and I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, I mean, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know, and I'm still confident in everything that I can do.
The Dallas game became more than just a regular season matchup. It was a pivotal test. With Clark eager to prove that her fast-paced, high-vision style could thrive at the pro level, and Paige Bueckers standing across from her as both a rival and symbol of that challenge, the stage was set. This wasn't just a game, it was a statement. Clark was ready to show that when she's free to lead her way, the Fever's ceiling disappears.